Join the host of Charged with Change Marge as her co-host Keith Erickson, a published author and illustrator, as he reads his new book, Fiona and Finn, A Wiley's Wish Adventure. Keith will also do a live reading of personal poems, poetry, and essays which he has written which mirrors his own journey of healing. He will also share information about his own campaign, Freedom for Keith petition, and how you can help. Make sure to follow Marge on TikTok, YouTube, and favorited.
Yeah, I just want to talk about the book real fast. Like, honestly, this inspiration was, Angel's the one that initiated the story, the idea of the book. I am an artist, so I do love to draw, and cartoons has always been like a childhood passion for me. Like, even though I do all kinds of other mediums of artwork, painting, with pencil, charcoal, tattooing. Like, I've always been an artist as long as I can remember, but for some reason, it's always been the cartoon characters, and created my own cartoon characters. It's been like a secret passion of mine, and so when she brought up the idea of the book and presented the story to us, I jumped on it right away. Not just because Finn was the dog that's in my care, but also because it gave me a chance to represent the program and tap into like the childlike part of me that it's not always easy to show while in prison. So the book became very personal for me and fun as well. And the artwork, it did take, the story was already...
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I had to tweak it a little bit, add a few things, and then shorten it to where it seemed more like kid-like, not necessarily childlike, but more kid-like, like simple, I guess. And then getting the pictures, sketching out and drawing the pictures to match the scene of the writing was probably the trickiest part. But like I said, it was fun, and it became very personal and something I'm real proud of. And Finn is here with me still. Matter of fact, he's laying right here on the floor with his little chew toys. So,
love that.
So the book is titled Fiona and Finn, A Wiley's Wish Adventure. And it is for the little voices in my heart that keep me forever young. My two stepdaughters, Kaylani Munoz, Mia Munoz, and then my two grandchildren, Angela Jackson and Malia Jackson. Okay. Fiona and Finn, A Wiley's Wish Adventure is a story that beautifully illustrates the power of love and trust. The men in the Second Chance Canine programs are rediscovering what it means to care for others, especially our rescue dogs. More importantly, they're learning to love and trust themselves. Team Wiley's Wish is made up of 4 extraordinary individuals who have placed their trust in these men to give displaced and abandoned dogs a second chance. Without Angel Kleiner, Lori Webb, Bonner Darnell, and Kay Laura, this remarkable opportunity will not be possible. Because of them, dogs like Fiona and Finn are loved back to life and given the fresh start they deserve. Wiley's Wish Animal Rescue didn't begin with these 2 incredible dogs. It stands as a powerful testament to the transformative nature of unconditional love. We hope you find joy, wonder, and laughter in the
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
In the illustrated lives of 2 of the most resilient dogs we've had the honor of caring for. Okay. Hi there. My name is Fiona, and my name is Finn. We're 2 adventurous dogs who were rescued by Wiley's Wish Animal Rescue. This is our story. I don't remember much about my life before the night I was harmed by a really big creature, even bigger than Finn. But I was really scared, hurting, and all alone until 3 amazing humans named Raul, Teresa, and Ray found me. I didn't know what to expect from them, but then they started comforting me and telling me that I would be okay. I believed them. In that moment, I felt very much loved by them. My next stop, they said, would be a local animal shelter where I would see a doctor. Boy, was I a little nervous when they carried me into the shelter. As soon as the doctor came in and gave me some tasty treats, I quickly forgot about being nervous and I relaxed. Things were definitely going to get interesting for me. Raul, Teresa, and Ray said that I would love my next destination. The doctor gave me a great big hug, one last treat for the road, and up into the car I jumped. The day finally came. The doctor gave me the all clear to leave the shelter. Before I knew it, we were pulling into the parking lot of the dog kennel where I would be around other dogs who had been rescued too, just like me. I've got to say, I was very excited about the days ahead, and right away I could hear other dogs barking and having fun. Then, that's when I saw my first soon-to-be friend. Wow! And guess what? He actually looked just like me. Same colors and everything. His name was Moto Moto. I got out of the car, ran up to him, wagging my tail to let him know that I was friendly, and instantly we became best buddies. Moto Moto told me everything about the kennel, and not long after, we set out to meet the other dogs who would soon become a big part of my extended family. There was Max, Dobby, Chesney, and Gus. Max and Dobby were Doberman mixes and totally crazy energetic. Oh, and they were brothers too. Chesney reminded me of a furry teddy bear. He was a shepherd mix that was kind of shy. Then there was Gus, a canine dog that likes to play and run wild in the field. My kennel mate would be Moto Moto, and for the next few months we would all play and have so much fun together. One day, another human arrived to the kennel. She started giving us all these treats, attention, and warm hugs. Everyone called her Angel, and with a name like that, I knew that she was special. From that day on, whenever Angel came to the kennel, we all came running to her, eager for tasty treats and warm hugs. For us dogs, those two things are absolutely priceless. Soon after, though, I started to feel a little confused. One by one, Angel began taking my friends to a place everyone called Wiley's Wish. Angel would tell me that my time was coming too, and I grew very curious about this mysterious place where all my other friends were going. Eventually, Max was the last friend of mine to be loaded into the back of Angel's truck and driven away. I decided then and there that I was going to do anything and everything to be reunited with all my friends. First things first, I thought to myself, I'm going to be on my very best behavior when Angel is around. She won't be able to resist taking me with her. My next destination would be Wiley's Wish. Nothing was going to stop me from getting there. My plan was simple. I would be the best dog ever, and Angel wouldn't be able to resist me. But first things first, I took my regular baths without any fuss at all. I'll admit, though, taking baths would become pretty fun, especially having my ears clean and toenails trimmed up.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
I'll call back.
Okay.
Keith
I
Erickson.
know. Angel?
An incarcerated individual at the Pleasant Valley State Prison, Coalinga, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored.
We have
and
Wiley's
recorded.
Wish right
You
here,
have a
Angel.
prepaid call. You will not be charged. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Then Angel came to see me one day. As I had been doing for weeks now, I gave her the biggest, cutest puppy dog stare ever. She stood there with a grin on her face, and boy, was I becoming suspicious. No treats, I thought. Something's really unusual here. Angel said she had a surprise for me out in her truck. She said there was another dog who would like to meet me. Right away, I got the zoomies and started spinning in circles. Just like me, Finn had been saved by humans who wanted to give him love and a safe place to be. He said Angel told him he would love his new kennel mate, and boy, was she right. I couldn't stop myself from blushing. Finn and I were inseparable. We did everything together. When Angel took us out for our daily playtime, we would play in the grass and explore the yard for hours. Finn was so nice to me. He was a perfect gentleman. Then Angel gave us the news. We would both be going to Wiley's Wish together soon. But then something unexpected happened. Finn got really sick one day. While he was in the hospital, I became so worried about him. Leaving him behind was the hardest thing I had ever had to do. But Angel promised me Finn would be okay and that I'd see him again when he got better. I cried the entire car ride to Wiley's Wish. The thought of Finn not feeling well made my heart ache. But for Finn, I kept a positive attitude. Wiley's wish was beautiful. I could smell all of my friends right away. I even saw these things called horses that I thought were just bigger dogs than I was. I probably looked silly barking up at them to say hello, but they were quite friendly and came to meet me. And just when I thought things couldn't get any stranger,
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I saw another animal they called a pig. It was pink and had no hair on its body whatsoever. Talk about looking absolutely nothing like a dog. I kept smelling all of my friends from the shelter, but I looked everywhere and couldn't find even one of them. Finally, as I was wandering around looking for my friends, Angel found me. She said we needed to sit down and talk. When she asked if I was ready to start the next chapter of my life, I barked, woof, which meant yes. She then told me that I would be reunited with my friends and the people there would love and take care of me. She called it a program for training. I was ready. I hopped right into the front seat of Angel's truck and we were on our way. It was a long drive, but we listened to music and I stayed awake the whole trip. What can I say? I was excited. The training program I eventually discovered was inside a place they called prison. The people inside the prison had made bad decisions in their lives, but they were now changing how they lived and treated others. Loving and training us dogs for new forever homes was part of their positive changes. Still, I didn't quite know what to expect until another amazing human named Fiona came out to the gate to meet us. Fiona came zipping towards us in a tiny cart they called a golf cart. Right away, I knew that I would like her. She picked me up and gave me the best human smooches ever. What I loved best about her was her pink sunglasses. Fiona was awesome, to say the least. Then, before you know it, we were riding in the golf cart on our way to where I would be living among my old dog friends, and my new human friends as well. Boy, I was anxious. We arrived at the program, and I was introduced to someone who would become very special to me. His name was Jaime, and for the next few months, I would grow to love and trust him. As my assigned handler, it was his responsibility to train me before Angel found me a forever home and a family that would adopt me. I saw many new things at my new place, including new dogs that looked just like me, and then I saw two of my old friends from Wiley's Wish. There was Max, and boy, was he still crazy, hyperactive, running around with his ball. Then there was Gus. He was wearing sunglasses now, and some things just never changed. He thought he was the boss man of the program, but I knew the real Gus. He's a big marshmallow, and I missed him. Training turned out to be really cool. Not only did I learn how to do tricks that made everyone cheer and clap for me, but the treats also kept coming the more I learned. I couldn't believe it. The rumors about this place were true. The humans here gave me so much love and comfort, but something was missing. Finn was left behind at the hospital. Was he okay? I worried about him all the time. I just needed to find out, and find out fast. One day, I just couldn't take it anymore. I started barking and letting everyone know that I wanted my best friend, Finn. I had no idea how he was doing or where he was, but I wanted him at the program with me right now. Fauna called Angel on the phone that day. She told Angel that I was going crazy without Finn. And it didn't take long for me to get my wish. That same week, Angel brought Finn to the program. He had no idea that his life was going to change for the better, but I did. More importantly, they brought him to someone who would love him back to health. His name was Keith. Angel introduced Finn to Keith, and their bond was instant. As Keith held Finn, a tear rolled down his cheek, and from that moment on, Finn knew he was in a safe place. This was finally Finn's chance to get better. The rest of the days ahead were great. Jaime really stepped up with my training. Not only did I learn more tricks, but I also learned how to run through hoops and obstacle courses. Needless to say, I gained so much confidence. Keith also taught Finn a bunch of new things. I loved watching Finn have so much fun, especially when he would spin in circles. The next few months, Finn and I spent a lot of time learning new things in the program. We received so much love from all the guys there, but my favorite days were those spent napping in the sun with Finn. When I found out that all of us dogs would be graduating, I was excited. We learned so much here. Our ceremony was going to be awesome. That day came and both Finn and I graduated together with all of our other friends. It was the best day of our lives so far. This also meant that we would soon be leaving for our forever homes. So you see, our journey together has brought us this far, but the adventure just isn't over. Thanks to Wiley's wish and the guys who loved, took care of, and trained us, our futures will be quite bright. The end.
That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, it was so cute.
Keith, this is amazing.
Yeah, Penny just went out. My mother-in-law, she was one of the first ones that ordered it too, and she read it. And she goes, "This is an adult book. This is an adult story kid book." She said, "This is better than your first book."
Thank you, Cindy. Really, this is, and I was waiting for Wiley's list. Bravo, my friend. Thank you so much, Angel says.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's and the fact that it's forever, their story is just, it's not the end of their story. Fiona went on to, she got adopted with, she went to a guy in the program, a handler. His wife adopted Fiona, so she went to Canada just a couple of weeks ago, and she's doing awesome. And her and Finn spent a lot of time, but they were kennel mates. So they, when Fiona left, Finn got really sick, and he kind of shut down. He quit eating, and he had lost a lot of weight. So he came into the program at a year and something months old, but he was only 22 pounds, and he was just he was skin and bones, and just, I had seen him. I was already assigned to another dog, Chex, and when Angel brought him in, and he was laying on his bed in the gym, and I walked in there and I saw him, I just couldn't help but cry, because I had never seen a dog so undernourished like that, and so it was heartbreaking. And she had told me that he wouldn't eat, and I put some kibble in my hand, and I knelt down and I held him, and I went to feed him, and he started eating out of my hand, and that was the first time he had ate kibble. So, and since he had quit eating and got sick, so it right then I just knew that it was an instant bond with me and Finn, and just taking care of him like a baby was like, it taps into something. It taps into something of your humanity in here that, it's a privilege. It's an opportunity to be able to help heal someone, even in the form of an animal. It just takes you out of these walls, and just to be able to capture their story, even though it's still being written, it's like, that's a powerful thing, but because it'll always be out there now,
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And everything that Angel does also with, for everyone with Wiley's Wishes. She's amazing. I hear so much about Angel from everyone.
Yeah.
They tell me what a hard worker she is, what she does for everyone. She's just an amazing person, and I'm so lucky I got to, I'm getting to know her. We text back and forth. She's an amazing person.
Yeah, I'm so proud to be a part of Wiley's Wish Animal Rescue. I really am.
Absolutely.
I'm very proud of it. Just very proud of it.
Absolutely. That was so good. We can listen to you read all the time. Like Keith, you really can read. I love to listen to you read. Thank you. Everybody says that too. Like, you can read a book. You can, don't get me wrong, you can write, but you can read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love to read. We did I had a class, a workshop here, the CBT, Cognitive Behavioral Therapy, and we did role playing we had to get up and do various things in the parenting section of the program, and we got up and acted out, reading children's books to the men in the group, and they were just blown away. They said, you look at me and I seem really reserved, and I got up there and I got really into it, and I was reading the children's book, and I think it was a month.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And it kind of lightened the mood for everybody else to follow suit. Everybody was more encouraged to get out of their comfort zone and get up there and read. But I love that kind of stuff. I used to be scared to death to get up and talk in front of people or read, or even in school. I didn't want to be that kid that got up and did a book report in front of the class because I was scared. I was afraid. But as I got older, I started getting comfortable with my reading and writing and speaking. And now it's just, I kind of, even when I do feel a little nervous or fearful, I challenge myself to get up there. And it's comforting for me. Once I get into the groove of it, I feel comfortable.
Right, right.
Storytelling is awesome. Yeah, storytelling is awesome. And I don't care how old you get, there's still that kid part of you, of everybody that loves that feel good. We love a feel good success story. We love, we love to, even though we do hear something of somebody struggling and something sad, we still root for a happy ending. So something beautiful to come out of it. So.
Absolutely. Yep. Okay. So how is Finn
doing? Anybody shared the book?
How's Finn doing?
Oh, he's doing awesome. He went out right now. His valley fever still it dries him out a little bit, and we did a allergy test.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
He's allergic to a lot of other things, so he's allergic to salmon oil, and we were using salmon oil to soften up his coat, because the valley fever was drying him up, so we can't use that now. So it's just a lot of little things that we didn't know, that he was breaking out in a rash, and we didn't know if it was a valley fever, but it happened to be, like I said, that allergy test came back and it was salmon oil, so I can't put salmon oil in his food no more. But he's health-wise, he's a rock star. He loves to play, and he's so gentle with the new dogs that show up. There's not an aggressive bone in his body, and he reminds me of a lot of Delta from my Unleashed book that I had from the service dog program. Even though he's not a yellow lab, he's a red-nosed pit. He just reminds me so much of Delta because he has that.
He'll call us right back. And Jamie sent us some pictures. I'm on this phone, but I can share some. Look at that. Tommy, I'm going to let him know. Paige, I'm so happy. I'm so happy that he's listening. Look at these pictures. I absolutely love them. Oh, my God. So this is Keith. Oh, my God. Look at these pictures. I love it. Right, Kara? Look. Oh. Like, Keith is a big softy. Look at him. When he told me that Angel, he told me that one day he took the pool out and he jumped in the pool and got all the dogs in there. I think he said, there was 11 dogs, and he got in the pool with the dogs. Oh, wait, this is the best. Are you ready? Look, are you kidding? He did see, oh, Angel, like, were you there? I said, I wish I had a picture, a kiddie pool. I need a picture of that. I said, I wish I had a picture of you in the pool. Look at this. Oh my God. Angel is so Angel, I was telling them the best part. I was like, the one morning I wake up to messages. Could you contact Angel? I need dog food for Aria. I was dying. I'm like, oh wait, I work now. I'm working with Wiley's Wishes now. I feel
You have a
special.
prepaid call from
Keith Erickson.
They were laughing.
an incarcerated
Could you
individual
get us
at
dog food?
the
I'm like,
Pleasant
this
Valley
is
State
great.
Prison, Coalinga, California. This call and your
Oh
telephone
my
number
God, it
will be
was so
monitored
funny.
and
He
recorded.
does. He
You have a
loves the
prepaid
dogs.
call. You will not be
But
charged
Manny
for
was
this
cracking
call.
me up.
To accept this call, say or
I'm like,
dial.
okay, I got you. I'll get in
Thank you
touch
for
with Angel
using
right
Global
now.
Telelink.
Okay.
I was telling him a little story how Manny messaged me one morning and I was cracking up. He's like, could
Yeah.
you get in touch with Angel? I need to get some dog food for Aria. I'm like, oh, I'm the messenger. I'll get right on that. I'll get you some dog food. We were cracking up. I need dog food. I said, see,
Yeah,
I love it though. I love it. I don't mind I love being part of this. I love like everybody. Angel's fabulous. She really is. She
yeah,
re-
I think the hardest thing for me was writing
Oh
that book
my
was because I vaguely talk about
Hmm.
the prison, because I had to think about my audience as well for the book. Like,
Angel.
I didn't, I've been incarcerated for 32 years, so I didn't know how it was as far as approaching the subject of men being in prison, especially when it comes to a illustrated, like, childlike book. I didn't want to like talk too much about prison, but I also didn't want to leave it out because I knew that it was important to have it represent what Wiley's Wish Animal Rescue is, as well as it relies on incarcerated men to nurture, bond with, and train these dogs for their forever home. So it's a collaborative effort. So I didn't want to leave that part out, but so I think that was the hardest part for me. And then when I had collaborated with my wife, and then my mentor slash publisher, Dr. Nandi Crosby, like I asked her, like, what is the best way to approach the speaking about the program, being a prison program, and with vaguely, but not getting too much into detail. And I think I found a good center point for it, like a medium of where I wanted to introduce the program, but not be too detailed about it.
Right. Absolutely. And Tommy's here also tonight. He's in the chat. He said, hi, I love you, buddy.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
So what was when you read the book the first time, what are some of the things that really tugged at your heart, that jumped out to you, Mark?
Well, I'll be honest with you. This is the first time I didn't read. I wanted to wait for you. I didn't read it till just now. I wanted to hear you read it. I didn't. I was going to read it, and people were asking me to read a little bit, and I'm like, no, that's like Keith does that. I'm waiting for Keith. I really wanted to wait for you. This is so special. I absolutely love. I love this book. Like, I don't care if it's a children's book. It has a meaning to it. And I love Unleashed, and I keep both of them. They're always on my desk right next to me. The girls will tell you anytime they ask about it, the books are right here. Thank you. We could. Oh.
Yeah, I was finalizing my manuscripts for Trauma Unraveled, which is my next book. I'm getting ready to send out to Dr. Nandi Crosby for public editing and publication, and it's powerful. This is it's Trauma Unraveled from Hurt to Healing, and it's there's 19 inmate submissions, writing submissions. Their detailed experiences of early trauma in their lives and how it shaped their thought, their belief system and their personalities and their behaviors into adulthood, and how they finally started confronting those demons. And it's powerful. It's some of the stuff in there is just so raw. It's going to be a very powerful book, and it's another one I'm very proud of, that men were comfortable enough to confide in me and trust in me and sit down and do interviews with me and share their stories with me, because I think there's so many people out there that for whatever reasons may be out in the community, that they don't share those things. And I think when they hear other people with the courage to do so, I think it inspires them to feel not so alienated and not so alone, because growing up I experienced the physical abuse that I did, but I never talked about the other sexual abuse. So
Right.
until I sat down with these men and they shared their stories with me, I didn't even have the courage to speak about it in the groups. And the fact that these men were, they might have known me for a few months or a year or so, but still they had the courage to tell me, and it just kind of, I felt a sense of accountability where, I have to address that. I can't tell myself that physical abuse was worse than the other abuse at the hands of my stepfather. Like, I had to start talking about it, because obviously it's still something that I kept away from people. So obviously I was still, for whatever reason, I was ashamed about it. So I talk about it in the book, and like I said, if people need to hear those things, because they need to hear that healing is possible, no matter where you're at, whether you're in here or you're out there in the community, you need to know that healing is possible,
Absolutely. I'm so excited for that book to come out. Because I know, you send some of that over to Christy. I did read a little bit of it as we were doing that. I am so excited for that one to come out. I know that one was.
You never know.
Go ahead.
She did. She came. Yeah, she came through, and I'm so blessed to have you guys too, because look how fast we got that done. Like, I think that's the hardest thing is having, I'm so blessed and fortunate to have a support team of family and friends that are so loving and kind, and that will invest the time, because they trust in the effort, and they know it's genuine and authentic, and vice versa. Like, that's why when you need me for something, I'm right there. I know, because I know at the end of the day, like, that's what it's about. It's about helping other people, and I know that you always, no matter what you're doing, you guys are always there for us as well. So
absolutely, and always will be. You know that. That's a given.
Yeah, I just got to get my butt home.
You're going to get there. You're going to get there.
Yeah.
Cousin Shannon's here. Cousin Shannon says hi. Love you.
I love you too, Shan. That's my favorite cousin.
She's here every week. She's here every week. I have to say that.
She is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's always here. She supports me pretty tough.
Yeah.
So, is there any other questions from our audience?
Does anyone have any questions for Keith? Any questions?
I want to share a few. Yeah, I want to share a few other poems that I've written over the years. That obviously I've been writing for a long time, and I really do wish that I would have held on to a lot of my writings that are wherever they are, they're out there. But there are a few that I have saved that have either been published on blog sites or that will be published in my trauma upcoming book. But there's also a few other ones that I've kind of held on to, because they were written during times of my life where I kind of reflect back on those moments, because whether it was the years that I spent in segregation, isolation, because I wrote a lot in there, and I was thinking about it today. In the darkest places, I found the brightest light, and I think that's true for me, because I spent 13 years in the segregated housing unit in the SHU, where I was locked in the cell basically 23 hours a day. But in that darkness and that isolation is where I found my true self as well, because ironically, the place I lost myself is also where I found myself. So that's what I was thinking about today. Is in that darkness, I found the brightest parts of me that I held on to. And I think writing helped me capture capture those parts of me that, because that's one thing about writing is you can put everything on there, and you have the free will of letting somebody read it or not read it. So either way, it's out there, and it's on paper, and it's where you can see it. So I think it also helped with my healing, is to be able to write things out. So.
And Tommy says a light shines brightest in the dark. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yep.
Sure does. Yeah, so if we don't have any other questions for the Fiona and Finn book.
No, they just, everyone loves it, Keith. They said great job. They absolutely love it.
Yeah, my wife said I have to do coloring books now for Wiley's Wish. So
she told me that. Yep. I agree.
Yep. Said
That's
I got to
right.
do coloring books now.
That's right.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay, so now I'll go into the poetry essay section of our live, which is just a few composed essays and poems that I've wrote, reflections. So the following are a collection of poems I had written throughout the years of my incarceration, many of them from a place tucked away, caught in the middle of suffering and refuge. I would find courage in the ability to sit down and write my emotions, regardless of how in those very moments I was feeling. That courage, I came to realize, was the foundation of the healing I desperately sought over the years. When I look back at some of these writings, I found myself revisiting the moments in time attached to these writings, the ones that were usually spent in isolation. Having spent 13 years in the segregated housing unit of some of the most violent prisons in California, I can honestly say that writing had kept me sane through conditions no human should have to endure. Caged, like that of an animal, I used to reflect back on my childhood as a boy running through the neighborhood with my brother Dwayne. Having the memories of such times gave me something even years of isolation from the rest of the world could not take me from: the power to imagine a life better than the ugly reality that had befallen me. Remnants of my writings still exist elsewhere, perhaps in letters to my beautiful wife, Jamie, and today those remnants are contrary to where I was a decade or more ago. Healing is anything but a choice. I began to understand that when I first wanted so desperately to stop hurting and carrying all the bullshit that being hurt caused me to cling on to. No matter how hard I chose to heal, it would get worse before it would get better. Pouring my heart and soul onto the pages of emptiness gave me a place to go when I knew of no other place to start. I hope that you will read some of these poems and get a perspective, yours and yours alone, not what anyone else suggests you have to feel. So this piece is titled Let the Voices In. And when I wrote this
call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
It was again in the quietness, the stillness of a segregated housing unit cell, where I was not allowed out to the yard where I could actually see the sky, the sunshine. We were housed and recreated on a 20 by 15 foot concrete yard with probably 30-foot walls, cinder block walls with a cage on top. So I could see the sky above me with the camera coming down, but I could not see a tree. I could not see a passing car. I might hear a prison van in the distance or a lawnmower or something, but like I said, I could not see a tree or any kind of natural life outside of that, that's outside of just staring up into the sky. So I would sit in the isolation of my cell, and in that quietness, like, that's where my concentration, like, it's crazy because in the quietness is where the loudest things are going on, because you're in such tune with all your senses without no kind of distractions. So I wrote this piece, Let the Voices In. And it's about my conscience, about the conscience in the back of my mind that always kept gnawing at me and telling me to do the right thing. I hear them reverberating off the walls of my cell in the darkness. They dance like...
You have 60 seconds remaining.
And I let them in only because I cannot stand alone. You will one day find your way, the voices say. I know that you will. But there's one thing you must do. You must get out of your own way. As I listen to them, as I pace the cold concrete floor beneath my bare feet, and the voices in the darkness begin to lead the way towards a pathway I had for so long refused to let myself see. Knowing the truth to what the voices had spoke, I decided in that moment to let the voices in. What harm could it do? I whispered just loud enough for myself to hear. I'm so tired of being my own worst enemy. I knew that I had failed myself long enough, and I refused to do it anymore. For me that night, pacing back and forth there in my prison cell, admitting to the voices that I had long lost control of my life, gave me back the chance to start over. You see, the voices had been there all along. They had never given up on me. They had waited in the corners of darkness, waiting on me to reach for them, to embrace them. I got out of my way.
Incarcerated individual at the Pleasant Valley State Prison, Coalinga, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global
Here we
Tel.
go. Hey.
I
Hi.
don't know what's going on.
I know.
Okay.
Because we're not having
Yeah, it's
storms
crazy.
now, and it's like it wouldn't let me accept the call, the last one. Like I kept hitting 5 and it wouldn't let me accept it.
Yeah, I called like 6 times.
I know, I just read your
I don't know what's
message.
going on with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the last sentence was that I don't know if it went through, but I got out of my way that night in the stillness of darkness. I let the voices in.
Mhm.
And that is more, when I talk about the voices, I think that's the conscience of what, the good. Like, being in the shoe that long for 13 years, I was a documented prison gang member. I basically dug myself into a hole that I didn't know how to get out. I was living a life for other people, wanting to always please other people, committing myself to an ideology that I didn't even believe in it no more. But, I adopted this prison gang subculture in here where I thought it was something that was going to protect me, especially coming back with a life sentence. But I always had this conscience in the back of my mind telling me, like, to do the right thing, like quit listening to other people, quit trying to please other people. Like, and you lose yourself along the way because you wear so many masks and here to conceal who you really are, because you don't want to give that vulnerability away, because in this environment you think it's going to come back to bite you and to haunt you and allow people to hurt you. So that piece was it was just good to finally look at start listening to that, the things before that conscience in your head, in your heart, before everything else jaded you to life, especially in there. So the next piece that I have is titled "A Barbed Wire Heart with a Concrete Soul." And I scanned over this before, it's been a long time since I've read it, but I read over and I think about, it's people do take their own lives in prison, especially in isolation and segregation. But it's inhuman. It's, that hopelessness locked in a cage like an animal, and I've seen it happen more than one time. And this is titled "A Barbed Wire Heart with a Concrete Soul."
Okay.
Life within a prison cell of 32 years, if I had to describe it to you from where I stand, would be best described as that of an animal being locked inside of a cage. It can sometimes feel so torturous to the human soul, hour by hour, minute by minute, until it steals the last remnants of your sanity. The illusion of time may feel as if it is going nowhere at all, and yet life outside continues to go by. Beyond this cage, everything is ever moving, living, breathing, and you cannot touch them no matter how far you reach for them. Like memories, they fade into yesterday, like a slideshow of where you once were, only to remind you painfully of the heartache you must now live with. Many of the men around me are much alike, in the sense that we sit here within these walls, jumbled into one ball of regret. Separately, yet together, we watch the world as now just spectators in a grand scheme where time itself causes us to age and wither into what will be oblivion. Like ants, I can tell you that we are scattered throughout the system like human cargo, standing next to each other, waiting to be shuffled from one place of confinement to another. Hope, or so the thought of it, seems to be the only thing that keeps our spirits alive. Today, I heard it again, as I have before.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
A man screamed from down the tier. His scream sounded as if he were masking his final declaration of defeat before giving up one last time. Hours later, he was found hanging lifelessly from a braided rope of sheet in his cell made of bedsheet. In that moment, I felt nothing at all. I could not afford to do so. My own sanity relied on my own grasp of hope itself, something I could not let slip away. But that night, I cried like a child beneath the covers in the dark. I could not help but be compassionate for another man just like me, locked away in a cage. And I wrote this piece after being up there in the Pelican Bay Shoe, and I'd been in this pod for 3 years at the time, and you know, you're in these pods where there's 8 cells, and most of the time they're singles. Guys are singled up. They're living by themselves, and sometimes you go years living in the same pod with the same people that you only see when they come out to go shower, or when they get escorted in handcuffs, or they go out to the little concrete slab yard in the back. So you really don't know the depth of the mental anguish that people are going through, because you know, you hear him working out in the cell where you can't see him, you see him coming out, but you really don't, you know, we put on this mask of everything's okay when we walk out of that cell. So when it's somebody that you've heard their name, you heard them talking on the tier, you've heard them playing chess with other guys in another cell by calling out numbers on the board. So you know, you get kind of familiar and used to hearing this guy every day, and the next thing you know, this guy took his own life, and it's like, you know, you become so dehumanized from feelings that feed into that context of being isolated, because we do so much to stay busy in the confinements of that cell, whether it's working out, doing legal work, drawing, or whatever. That we stay busy so we don't have to face the inevitable of the mental anguish that we're going through. And in doing so, we become desensitized to certain things that happen. So when somebody takes their life, you don't want to think about it right then. You just kind of want to go about your daily routine that you've been doing all day, working out, taking a bird bath, doing legal work, reading, writing, drawing, because you're like a programmed machine, and that's how you're dealing with this everyday repetition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over every day. And then in the quietness of my cell that night when I was laying there, I started to think, and I was so tired. And at the time, I had stepped away from the prison gang, but I was going through what they call a debriefing process, where you start working with the administration and admitting everything that you're involved with. So it's basically you're basically giving up everything that you've ever done and all the context and information that you have with the prison gang. So you disassociate yourself from it, but it's such a long process, and it's like flipping yourself inside out and saying everything that I've been for all these years, I'm no longer that. But then it's like, who am I? And I'm laying there in the cell that night, and I think about what happened earlier at Chow when they came and got this guy out of the cell because he hung himself. And you know, because they yell, get the cut down, get the cut down. Well, the officers hit the alarm. They say, get the cut down, kid, get the cut down, kid. That means open the metal box out by the police station that allows them to come in and get the scissors and come and cut the sheet down and cut the guy down. So it's very quiet. Everybody's quiet, and nobody's really talking about, man, I can't believe that guy just did that. It's just like this eerie sound of quietness, and nobody's talking and nobody really wants to put that business out on the tier where we're talking to each other about somebody killing themselves. But I guarantee it, everybody that they laid down that night and they thought about it, and it was. It's just sad because you push all of those feelings away because you don't want to experience that. But then you start like thinking, man, that could be me, that could be me,
right.
And it's sad, and it's not the first time that I've seen it happen. You know, Tommy can tell you. But, it's a sad thing because you never know what somebody's going through, especially in those situations. Like that guy could have got a letter that night saying that his wife left him, or his father passed away, or his mother passed away, whatever the case may be, and that was just the last breaking point of what helped him holding on, So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Jamie told me to ask you about Alcatraz.
Oh, Alcatraz. So Alcatraz offered Vanessa Rojas reached out to me and offered me the opportunity to do an art piece that reflects on what freedom means to me. So I'm going to have a painting. I'm working on a painting right now for that will be displayed throughout the year, and it's going to start in October. And Alcatraz is it's a prison over in San Francisco. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets over 1 million visitors year round. So I get to have a piece of artwork showcase there amongst other artists that people get to see it, and then I get to write a story about it. So it's going to be pretty cool.
Oh, okay.
So I was working on that, and then let me see what I got here. Okay. And now this essay was previously published by Wits, which is Walking Those Shoes. And I don't know if you ran across her. Her name's Kimberly Carter. She's a social worker in West Virginia, and she's another one that gave me a lot of inspiration for writing as well. But I had wrote this poem a few years ago, and I had submitted it to one of our liaisons for our previous dog program and this program as well. And just one of my reflective writings, and it's titled "Scarred but Sturdy," and it goes. I often think of myself as a sturdy ancient oak tucked away in the still quiet of the forest. I have many scars, but I believe each and every one is a part of the necessary affliction to be overcome and has gotten me to where I am today. Each scar, like the markings of an oak tree, is a measure of my inner growth displayed for the world to see. Today I did something I've never done. I stood naked from the waist up in front of the worn and cracked wall mirror of my prison cell. My reflection stared back at me as if to say, I've waited for you to notice me for quite some time now, my friend. All I could do was stare back. I was covered from neck to feet in prison tattoos, freshly billboard of places I have been and all the moments I wanted to capture beneath my skin through self-expression. My reflection resembled so many other men locked away within these cold walls, but I knew the truth as I stood staring. I'd been hiding behind so many scars for so long, and I wanted to finally crawl out from behind them once and for all. I lifted my arms to see more and explore the ink of my torso. My fingers traced the now mature scars where breathing tubes had once been inserted into my chest. And I went immediately back to my childhood where I'd suffered abuse at the hands of a violent stepfather who nearly took my life at the age of 11. I stood for a moment.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Reliving what it felt like to struggle for my last breath because my lungs had been collapsed by a vicious monster who had married my mother and beaten me often as a child. He was an addict who took his pain and suffering out on my brother and mother as well, and he left scars that I could not cover with tattoos no matter how hard I tried. Reality began to set in, and I was back in the confinements of my 13 by 13 foot man-made cage, realizing 31 years have gone by. I was incarcerated most of my life as a juvenile and adult, and time has started to wear on me. I may not have been in this very cell, but I have been in countless replicas where I've awakened each morning for 3 decades, cold concrete walls that leak when it rains, and a mattress as worn as the folded up blanket at the end of my bed. I am getting older, undeniably. Through it all shines the illuminating shimmer of light from the window in the back of my cell. Light that reflects on what I had at hold dear, the faces of my beautiful wife and daughters taped to my wall. Their faces, despite all that I've gone through, remind me that I am still alive in spite of my scars. There is, in fact, life outside of these walls, and I will see it again. As I stood continuing to stare at my bare torso in the reflection, I thought I've come so far, and each scar has taught me a lesson. inching me closer and closer to freedom. I'd run from many of my scars most of my life, and in that moment, I was willing to face them. I stepped closer, lifting both my hands to my face as the tears began to fall. It was the first time in a long time I could remember actually crying. In that moment, I felt it. I felt it hard. The courage began to swell.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
My hands covered in the tears that fell effortlessly, and the voice inside spoke to me. Keith, you truly are like that of an oak tree, and your life is measured by the scars you have been running from for so long. You must stop and face them, learn how to embrace them if you are ever going to reach your greatest potential, because that, Keith, is where you will heal the most. My knees began to lower to the cold concrete floor as the words echoed over and over again in my mind. I started to understand just what my purpose had been all these years, seen through the tattoos that I'd hidden behind for so long. And it was what every human is brought into this world for, to live, to love, and be loved. To learn and fail when necessary in order to learn from mistakes and forgive ourselves as much as we are willing to forgive others. I sat kneeling and broken, yet I could not feel more alive, stronger than I had ever been. I wiped away the tears, stood up in my reflection, and felt it. I felt like that of an oak tree in the forest, upright and standing tall for the world to see. These scars are mine.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
I was playing the slot machine.
I know. I hit it. It disconnected the first time. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like playing the slot machine.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like playing the slot machine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was I have a couple more pieces. Yeah, and that one was, I have another piece where I write about the tattoos. You know, anybody that knows me, that, you know, I literally have tattoos from the tops of my feet all the way to the bottom of my chin, so I'm covered. And I had these two scars on each side of my chest where my stepfather had collapsed my lungs when I was a boy. They had sliced and pushed tubes into my lungs to drain the fluid out and put air back into my lungs. And I had these two scars that I ended up, those were probably the ones that when I started getting my tattoos around my chest, I'd covered those up. But I remember getting them and feeling the tattoo gun on those scars, and it hurts a little worse than regular flesh. But you know, I talk about the scars covering up, and not just covering up the wounds, like the those visual scars, but also, you know, we're like billboards in here, and I'll talk about another piece that I wrote in a minute. But we're like billboards in here where we get these tattoos to kind of like either get attention that we you know, to distract us from what's really going on, to represent, you know, things that we hide behind, whether it's the prison gang, whether it's the souls, the whatever the case may be, whatever these tattoos are, we get them, and a lot of times we grow older and we start to heal, and a lot of these prison tattoos, we regret them because what we thought were things that we wanted to capture in that moment with these tattoos, we kind of want to let go of that stuff later on, and here we have those tattoos that are constant reminders of it, and a lot of them we do end up covering up, but the fact is that they're still there beneath another tattoo, and the other scars. So I talk about the scars and being deeper than the tattoos. You know, and the tattoos are just a way of trying to control them. But so this next piece is titled "With Each Step That I Took, the Word Soulless Would Follow." And when I say soulless, soulless, as in not having a soul. So when I start reading the piece, you'll begin to understand.
Okay.
We say that we do not like the pain, that we place ourselves in harm's way. We disregard our own sense of safety, and here we are allowing that inner peace to constantly be chipped away by our own ignorant neglect. Becoming the executioner to our own demise is nothing out of the ordinary, for we have been doing this for centuries. Each and every self-imposed infliction is one more marking of suicide upon our very souls. I too admit that I am guilty of this deed. I remember when I used to say I love you to others without having the slightest sense whatsoever of whether or not I ever even loved myself. I also remember looking into the eyes of another human being and feeling disconnected to them.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I would want so badly to know them, to trust them, and let them into my soul, but I couldn't. Over the years, I would hear from others in my life, Keith, we are praying for you out here. And as much as I knew deep down there was something greater than myself, a higher power, if you will, I did not have the courage to pray for myself. I resented the world around me for my own self-destruction. And to allow myself to feel anything at all meant that I would have to be honest and face the truth of what I had known all along. I was hurting and needed someone to blame. I'd reached a point in my life where I felt as if I had fallen into a dark pit of nothingness. I hated the person I had become here in prison, and I was too ashamed to admit it aloud. I tattooed the word soulless across the tops of my 2 feet while sitting in the cell 20 years ago, and for me it represented something deeper. A cellmate at the time had asked me, "Why did you tattoo those words across your feet?" I replied, "Because when I leave this world, I want everyone to know that I had already been gone long before my physical life had even expired. How I had gotten to such a dark place in my life, I cannot tell you. I guess I had given up." He looked back at me and said, "That's a really dark thing to say, Keith," and he was right. Today, I am not that same lost person that I was then. Eventually, I found the courage to fight again for my eternal freedom and peace of mind, that is. And I pray to God every night, thanking Him for giving me so much. In my darkest hours, moments where I had once felt as if I had no soul worth saving, He reached out and picked me up from the rubble of my painful life. The tattoos have long been covered, and yet I still look down on my feet as if to remind me of where I once was. This, I believe, is a constant reminder that all men can be found again once lost. I was, and today my soul is fuller than it has ever been. Yeah, so I had written that just a few years ago, actually. I'd written it and I'd shared it at a graduation of our first service dog canine program, because that program had helped me get in touch with a lot of feelings that were attached to being here in prison. Don't get me wrong, like, my wife loved me back to being able to love again, and my kids, but also there's things inside of prison that I don't think a lot of people out there in the community can relate to, because unless they've been in this situation, especially after so many years in prison. There's a lot of emotions that are tied to everyday nuances that go on in here that you just kind of shut yourself off to. And you lie to yourself a lot of times when you don't want to have to deal with something in here mentally, emotionally, some traumas that are attached to earlier events in your life. You lie to yourself. If you can't turn the switch off of them or suppress them, you lie to yourself about them, and you kind of paint this different narrative of how things happen in your life, because whether it's you wanting to blame somebody or how you ended up in here, or just the fact that you're trying to avoid accountability. So when I wrote that, it was, as much as I wanted to be soulless and without feeling of, it's because I didn't want to hurt. I didn't want to feel that pain no more, especially at a time, before I had met my wife and before I had such a positive support team of family and friends.
Right.
That's how I wanted to feel. I didn't want any reminder of the outside world. And I used to Jamie will tell you, like, I would never call home on holidays, so I would not call my brother on holidays. I didn't want to write to people. I didn't want visits. I didn't want anything as a reminder from the outside that reminded me about there, because being a lifer, I thought that I could just close everybody off and it would keep me in a bubble and keep me from having to feel certain things. But at the same time, it was so bittersweet because I longed for that kind of stuff too as well. I just didn't want other people to see it, because I had this thing about being vulnerable.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Keith, what was your first tattoo?
My first tattoo, believe it or not, it was on my hand when I was like maybe 13, 12 or 13, I believe. I think we were all skateboarding in my neighborhood, and all my little buddies had like a little sewing needle and thread around it, and we were dipping it in tattoos and plucking each other's like. And I remember it was a little tiny spider web on my hand, and yeah. But my actual first prison tattoo was let me see, probably I believe it was my chest, and it was like gang related tattoos. Um, so my earliest tattoos were just those gang tattoos, and believe it or not, I wasn't even involved in a gang before I came to prison. But right away, I had gotten a tattoo, and I wasn't even raised like that. It was a racial tattoo, and I wasn't even raised like that. And I remember getting out of prison that first time with the tattoos, and everybody that I grew up with had been hearing like that I was running with like white people in prison, and my mother's Mexican, my dad's white, and so out on the streets, I read, I had a mixture of different friends. I had black friends, white friends, Asian friends, Mexican friends. So everybody was like, man, like they didn't realize that this environment, you kind of, the term getting where you fit in, you want that immediate acceptance, and you're kind of like, you're categorized right where you come into this environment just by your peers because you look like them. So you have to run with these people and these people. So, and then slowly but surely over the years, I just started accumulating. And I was a tattoo artist as well. So, even though I haven't tattooed for well over, it's been a lot of years since I've tattooed, just because I don't want to risk getting the disciplinary. But yeah, I think those were my very first tattoos.
Have you ever thought of having any of your tattoos, like removing any of your tattoos? Is that a thought?
Yeah, the ones on my face that if you see some of my older pictures where I have the stars on my face, those are currently, they're almost gone, completely gone. I think I have one more session within the next 2 months. They visit the prison every 2 or 3 months to do sessions for us where we go out there and we go up into this van and they do laser tattoo removal. So I'm removing the stars that were there once across my face. But those are the only ones so far. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they do them right there? They remove them?
Yeah, they do them. Yeah, they do them right here, and like so far, I've gone through 7 or 8 sessions just for these little stars, and they, believe it or not, they still have it. Like I could stand up in the mirror really close and still see like little remnant shadows of them. But they said hopefully that ink will just start disappearing. They said it's so light that now to do one more session, they don't even know if they're going to do another session. So when they show up again, I'm supposed to go over there, and they're going to determine right then if they want to do one more session, because otherwise you're just burning your flesh just to burn it. You're not really burning nothing out of there. So. Oh,
does it hurt? Like, is it painful?
Oh yeah, it hurts. And I told Jamie, I said, how bad could be? It can't be no worse than getting the tattoo. And I went over there. I said, it's like 20 times worse.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's like 20 times worse than getting the tattoo. So. And they said every time they turn it up higher, so that was another thing that kind of discouraged me. So, so I was very.
And then what's that? Why didn't you remove the other ones?
Well, a lot of the other ones back then we didn't have this opportunity to remove the tattoo. We didn't have a tattoo removal program. So it was always a lot of the tattoos we got. If we regretted a tattoo, we just covered it up with another one. And then if we wanted that covered up, we covered it up with a darker tribal solid piece. Like it just becomes, so a lot of the tattoos end up becoming blotches that you just, and then they made it, now they have this tattoo removal program had barely started in the CDCR within the last years. Prior to that, we had never had a program like that in here. And even so, now they're real discretionary with what tattoos are removed. They only remove hand tattoos, facial tattoos, and they have to be gang-related tattoos as well. So, like, you have to be, when you fill out your application, you have to be disciplinary-free for a year. They have to be gang-related tattoos, and you also have to write like an essay of explaining what benefits it would be, why you want the tattoos.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Of having them removed and so on. So it's not just like, hey, I want my tattoos removed. Well, we'll try this one more time.
Bye, love.
You ready?
Okay, I'm ready. Oh, he has to call back.
No, I usually do.
Thank you
I'll show you right now.
Okay, I want to do, Hello.
So
We have your
hi
wife
honey.
up here.
I was telling the story about how I told you I didn't, after you went and seen on the computer on how your tattoos were all showing, and then how they showed you how you looked without them, and you were all excited about it. And then we discussed it because I asked you, why is it that you want to remove your tattoos? And you said because you didn't want to look like you just got out of prison. And I had told them how we went on date night, and I was showing you how other people look exactly like you. And there was no difference. You couldn't tell the difference. I mean, I have a niece that she's got tattoos all over her face and her arms. And that's just the thing this day and age. And I told him, I said, honestly, you'll probably be one of the cooler kids, bigger kids. But, and then I was we got onto your, Wiley's Wish had mentioned we're going to get you some skinny jeans so you can try them on. And I said, oh, I've already tried to talk to him about it. At least just for you. Yeah, he said good luck, guys. Exactly. That was his exact words.
He's not coming home.
Yeah. Oh, but he's but I told him, I said, well, what do you plan on wearing? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, I said, well, I guess I get to dress you then. So he's like, all right, I guess you could dress me, but not skinny jeans. And then we started talking about your shorts on how big they are on me, and they practically touch the ground. And I just got him 5X's in his last package. And you know what he said? He said they're too small. I said they are a 5X. They are not too small. You better make that work, young man.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I can't even sleep in them.
Yeah,
like somebody's trying to wrapping me up in a mummy suit. Yeah.
Good God, Lord. Somebody's going to strangle you if you don't stop getting such big clothes. But, yeah, I was telling them that, how I kind of felt like you wanted to have the approval of people out here without your tattoos. And I told them, I said, look, I love your tattoos and I love who you are. You guys are barely all getting to know him. I've got to know him way before everybody. And 2016 was a really crazy year for me as well, because not only did I change his life, but he literally just changed my life. He flipped my whole world upside down. I was doing very bad in 2016, and he came around and I just literally just turned my life around. He always tells everybody, I tamed the lion. And I'm like, oh, okay. But he is absolutely 100%. I get a lot of people that always ask me, why would you be with somebody that's in prison? Well, you want to know why? Because that man has done more for me inside that prison than any man out here that has a freedom. And he has gone above and beyond. He went, even when I wasn't sure if this was my whole scene. I didn't know if I could be, the prison wife. It was a hard situation. And all I kept hearing from everybody was, oh, what if he uses you? Or, oh, what if this? Or what if that? And I said, you know what? I'm going to take that chance. And he just kept, even when I first met him, I told him, don't fall in love, because love don't live here anymore. I said, and he was just like, very adamant. He was persistent, and he just never gave up on me. And because he never gave up on me, I always tell him, I'm like, you loved me past my pain. You did the impossible. You did something that somebody out here in the free world couldn't do. I said, and not just that, they were like, oh, well, how are you going to survive in this world? The car that I drive now, my husband decided that I'm very fortunate to have such an amazing husband and a great brother-in-law, Dwayne, and of course his wife, Christy. They have always been very supportive of our relationship. It's very hard not to be able to find that support out there in this world, and it's even harder to find friends that will support you with it, because they don't understand the struggle. They don't understand why do we continue to fight for what we have in them. And it's a lot because they believe in us. They love us, and they don't give up on us. At least not my husband did, and he was very adamant and persistent about it. And even when I was at my darkest moment, he still decided that no, he's like, I knew when I saw your picture, I loved you. And I was just like, wow, and I keep telling him, I'm like, babe, we need to write our love story. And he said, we will, babe, we just got to get through all the other stuff.
Yeah. Right.
It's definitely a huge thing for us to be able to talk with other couples, or even just have people that reach out to me and be like, hey, you know what? I really appreciate your husband doing that. I get a lot of compliments in my inboxes, and I just can't thank all his fans enough for the support, the love. Of course, Lauren is amazing, and so Marge. I just told Marge today, I can't wait until he does come home. When he does, we're gonna have to go to Florida and take everybody out to dinner.
Yeah.
So
I couldn't do what I do without Lauren. Lauren is so helpful. All I have to do is ask, and she's right there. She really is.
Yeah. Sorry, I was reading the comments. She really, really is. She really just I have a hard time letting people help me. I think it's just because I'm so used to always just doing it for myself and Keith, and my kids. And sometimes I have to be able to say, okay, you got to let go. And it's okay. I was just talking about this with a friend today, to start learning how to delegate with her business and trusting, a couple people and being able to put herself and trust out there a little bit more. I'm not going to lie. It is extremely hard, extremely hard, but it is necessary. And I am so glad that I let Lauren help us, because I cannot thank you enough to Marge and her crew and I don't know everybody's name by heart because I'm horrible with names. I'm just going to say, but I'm going to say Marge's crew because everybody knows who Marge's crew is. And to my husband for being brave and putting himself out there like this, and just bringing us all into one family.
Exactly. Yep. It's amazing.
You still there, love?
Keith?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah,
He's
we're
just,
we had a guy go to board yesterday in front of the Board of Prison Terms. He got found suitable for parole. I see it so often now, and it's like it's bittersweet because I see these guys, and a lot of them I've mentored, and I've helped prepare these guys. And that's not to take all the credit, but like I've I've given of myself to so many people that have gotten out of prison, and I'm like, people always tell me, like, maybe that's part of your purpose. Like, maybe that's why God's keeping you there for now, is to help these other people because they need somebody like you. And then, so I'll be honest with you, in the last few days, it's been kind of, sometimes it gets depressing because, like I said, it's bittersweet to see these guys get found suitable for parole, and it's like when's my time coming? Like, this change.org petition, the Freedom for Keith, is like, I'm not one of these men that's just fighting for my freedom to come home to my family and my kids, and that's the extent of my life. Like, my purpose in life is, I realized that long ago in here, is to give of myself to other people, because there's so much that people have given to me, and they may not ever have known it, like people that have helped me heal along the way. And my purpose is to come back out in the community, is to work with dogs, work with at-risk youth, work with people that need me, like being a pillar of my community that I've taken advantage of for so long. And it's just because that concept of, I heard it again yesterday on TV, people hurt other people, and that's the case. And, earlier my wife was talking about loving her past her pain. Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to love somebody. Everybody wants to be loved without no kind of trauma attached to it, or no kind of insecurity or fear of that vulnerability. Like everybody's jaded to that openness, and I want everybody to experience that. I'm not extraordinary. A lot of people say that I'm extraordinary.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I'm like a billboard of so many other people that have attached little notes to me that have made me who I am, because I've taken a little bit of something from other people, and I've also given it back. So, like, I'm fighting for my freedom to come back out into the community to do more, because I know that I can do even more out there than I can do in here, because that's what it's all about. People walk out these gates. Some people don't look back. A lot of people do. Like, a lot of people get caught up with life out there, and I've had a lot of people get out and they pop in and out, but life happens out there. I want to continue making a difference out there. I'm 50-something years old, but I still have that fire and that drive. I feel like I'm making up for a lost time in my life, where I spent so much time caught up in my own hurt, that now that I'm in this part of healing, it's like, you can't help but want that for other people. You can't help but want that success for other people, big or small. So that's what I'm fighting for my freedom for. It's not just to, like, keep in mind, I've spent most of my life incarcerated, so it's not like physically I cannot do this. I can do this all day long. I've done this all day long. I've been incarcerated since I was 12 years old. Most of my life has been in mental prison, just as much as it's been in a physical prison. But my freedom for, my fight for freedom goes beyond just these walls. And it's not just limited to myself and my family. It's also for other people that I know that need people like me out in the community as well. So.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with him, with my husband, is that, don't get me wrong, it would be great to have him home with us for our family, but ultimately, because his story is so powerful, I would like to even start setting up conference calls or Zooms at junior highs here with the kids about gangs, about the reality of them, about being able to talk to the youth and let them know, hey, this is not the way. If this is, let's think of something else. Let's, guide you somewhere else. Let's stop this whole situation, because, like he said, people hurt people. It's not, and that's just a horrible thing to say. In this time, in this time of age, it's very painful to sit there. I even tell Keith, because, I tell Keith, I'm like, babe, I don't watch the news because I get very emotional. and it breaks my heart. I did a lot. I was very angry, bitter young lady when I was younger. And so as I was a younger child, like most people do, or most women do, they say, I was taught crying was a weakness. And so I didn't cry. Now that I'm older, I can't stop crying. I'll hear a romantic song that Keith will dedicate to me. I'm like, oh, I love my husband. And it's just that much more powerful. Now I'm crying for a different reason, but I don't care who sees it. I don't care who is there. It's raw. It's reality. I want him to be able to come out here. He has made so much of a difference on there, with so many different men, with the youth, with the mentoring. I mean, I have probably over 30 men on my texting app. Good Lord, CDCR must think some really bad stuff of me, but I literally outreach to all these men, and every single one of them have always said, I absolutely love you and Keith. You guys are amazing. It's like you're kind of like a power couple, and I tell them, I'm like, you know what? It's all him. Like, I'm just I'm just the woman behind the man. He is the one that made that difference. I'm the one that just helps him get his story out there. And if we could all just, go and sign the petition and do all that, we would, oh my goodness, we would love that. It would be amazing. I will be posting it probably tonight, maybe tomorrow, only fact because I got to get up at 3:30 in the morning.
Yes, you do.
And I haven't even showered and ate.
Yeah.
But I'm always on here. I'm with my husband. I'm always checking my messages. Anybody can always message me.
An incarcerated individual at the Pleasant Valley State Prison, Coalinga, California.
Yep.
This call and your telephone number
And I'll
will
post
be
it on my
monitored and
link
recorded.
tree too.
You have
I'll
a
put it
prepaid
there
call.
tonight. I
You
didn't
will
have
not
a
be
chance
charged for this call. To
earlier,
accept this call, say or
but I will
dial
have it.
5. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
And
We're here.
And so, I mean, we want to make a difference. I would like, there's so many, I mean, when we were kids, they used to have assemblies and have people that used to be in gangs come out and speak to these youth. I don't see that anymore.
Right.
There's no involvement with the system, with the kids. I want my husband to be able to do that. I mean, people look at him, and I swear people look at him, and the first thing that they say is, oh my gosh, what did you do?
Right.
And I'm like, I married the love of my life. That's what I did. So look past the tattoos. Listen to his story. You know what I'm saying? This can change, not just, adults, preteens, but I mean, teens. I mean, younger youth, older adults. It's right. So powerful. It's just, I can't say enough about him. I'm even starting to get emotional right now. I really, I want his story to be told. I want his story to be known. I want these youth to be able to know that they have other options out there, that they can do other things. And he is the perfect person of redemption.
That's right. Absolutely.
Sorry.
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Nope, you're good. You're good. Keith, we're here. Keith is back.
When it comes to my husband, I'm so I'm just
You're
so
very passionate.
Yes, absolutely. I'm actually passionate just about all the men that are in my life, and I'm very, very, very lucky to have a husband that is not a jealous man. And is able to have so many connections with so many people inside the CDCR system, and all the men that have always reached out. They're amazing. Their stories are amazing. I can't wait until Keith's next book comes out. I've got to hear little fragments of it, not the full story. So I'm super excited about it. I know Manny's story is a powerful one. I know that Ralphie is, oh my goodness, he makes me cry even till this day. And they're just so, so amazing. Like I said, please, please, please sign the petition. I will be sharing it on probably every platform I have, and within the next day, because I will be having to go to sleep. And I still have to go take a shower and get my stuff ready for bed. But I love you guys. Thank you so much again, Marge. Baby, I love you. Call me when you get off the show. You guys are all amazing. I love you. You love you, love you. And please, again, sign the petition. Thank you.
All right, and we'll be passing it around. You know that. We won't stop.
Hello?
We're here, Keith. Go ahead. Oh, Keith, she dropped down. She's good.
Oh, okay.
She's in the chat.
No,
She's
no,
in the
it's
chat.
Yeah, it's she talks about all the men that I've helped that we still keep in touch with, and God, it's just so crazy that there's so many people that still, even when we separate like this, we still find means and ways to reach out to each other and encourage each other. It's like a fabric, like we want that success for each other. We want, it's no different than Tommy getting out and
Right.
and all these other people that we want them to continue to be successful, and so it's good. It's like we're so much alike in so many ways, and
Absolutely. And I reached out to Tommy. I told Tommy about Tony. You know what happened with Tony, and I reached out to Tony.
Your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I spoke with Tony. I reached out to Tommy about it, and Tommy said he would reach out to Tony. Like, I love this, that everyone cares, because Tony was having a tough time, he was.
He was, and it's an injustice. It's not because it's an injustice because we're in the same situation and we feel that. But when you're in here and you see a man's day-to-day walk, like Tony, and you see that they hold themselves accountable when nobody's looking, and they carry themselves with integrity, like, it makes you wonder, like, obviously prison was necessary for us that it went full circle to become who we've become. So that's not to say that we did not deserve in that time to come to prison, because we did.
Right.
We needed to be held accountable until we were able to hold ourselves accountable. But it becomes, after so many years, it becomes an injustice.
Yeah.
It becomes an injustice when you say, when is enough time? Like, if a guy's been living a certain way for 15, 20 years, like, when is enough is enough? Like, and for him it is. It's an injustice to keep somebody like him, like myself, like Tommy. It was an injustice to keep these men from a life that they obviously could have been successful at years ahead of time. So it's for him. I seen Anthony the other day when I was getting in the shower, and I asked him, "Hey, bro, you all right?" And he said, "You know what, Keith, I'm really not." And I sat there for a moment and I talked to him because I knew he needed somebody to talk to, and he was able to be honest with me, and I knew he wasn't all right, but a lot of people won't tell you they're not all right.
Right.
A lot of people will tell you, "I'm cool, man, I'm cool." Like, but he had told me he's not all right, and he felt like everything just came crashing down, and I think it is, to me, it's an injustice, and he's in the same situation as me as far as his sentencing goes, with the 3 strikes law holding him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it's hard to not compare yourself to other people from a legal standpoint when you see them getting out of prison based on the legalities of it, right? It's hard because then you see the law as being unfair, because it is an unfair system. Allie will tell you that. Attorney Allie told you the other night. Like, the whole system is just it's twisted up.
It is. Yeah.
It's not black and white. It's not black and white at all.
Yeah. And you know, when I first wrote to Tony, he wouldn't. He gave me like a sentence, and that's not how we usually talk. Like, we will talk, and I was like, wow, he's not good. And it took him a day or so until he finally wrote to me and opened up. And he told me he's not okay. His mom is driving there this weekend from Arizona because she knows he's not okay. So she's coming to see him Saturday. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she'll be there Saturday.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah, she'll be there Saturday, his mom.
It's hard, Margie. It's hard keeping up.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I've been a little sad, like, because, you see, it's just doing the same thing every day. And don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. I'm in the dog program. What I do, what I represent is beautiful. Getting back into college again, I do these things to occupy myself, but at the same time too, I think about it's like living life on the side of a glass window and having everyone you love and all the successes you want to achieve, just on the other side of that glass, and you want it so bad, and you see it, and then you see other people that you were just with on the other side of that glass, and it's not easy. It gets harder, especially after 30 plus years, and you're.
I know, absolutely.
Don't get me wrong. 10, 15 years ago, I would be honest with you and tell you okay, well, I'm just starting my journey. I'm kind of uncertain with a lot of things. I'm still trying to find my place. But that's not me today no more. That was 15, 20 years ago. This is it. This is me. This self-discovery is
right.
who I am. So.
Yeah, I could only imagine.
Okay.
I could only imagine.
Yeah, but I appreciate everybody allowing me to I appreciate everybody allowing me to read my stuff.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Well, thank you for tonight. I know the phone's you're gonna have to call. It's gonna go out again, so I will let you go. Because it is. I know you're gonna have to call Jamie because she has to go to work. She said tomorrow. And it's about that time. I really appreciate you coming on and reading and doing what you do every week for me. You know how much this means to me.
Thank you. And again, thank you, Lauren, for helping with the Change.org petition. And I appreciate and love everybody for standing behind me and supporting me. It means the world to me, and it just makes me want to be even better and better. So I love you guys. I appreciate you, and everybody have a good night.
All right. I will talk to you probably a little bit later. I'll talk to you in the morning.
Okay.
All right. All right. Love you.
All right. Love you guys.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Make sure to follow Marge on TikTok, YouTube, and favorite it.